Welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into the heart of Dark Souls to rank the 33 toughest boss fights ever encountered. Whether you face these giants or not, get ready for some intense battles. Let's dive in. First up, on the 33rd spot, Asylum Demon. The Asylum Demon marks your first real challenge in Dark Souls, serving as the final hurdle in the game's tutorial. While experienced players might find it manageable, newcomers to Dark Souls or Souls-like games will likely face a daunting trial. The Asylum Demon emerged from the Witch of Izalith's ill-fated attempt to recreate the first flame using a Lord's soul. Her actions unintentionally birthed numerous demons, including this formidable boss. On the 32nd spot is Ceaseless Discharge. Cheesing the Ceaseless Discharge boss fight is possible by running to the back of the arena, but those unaware of this tactic will face a challenging fight. Lore-wise, Ceaseless Discharge was the youngest child and sole son of the Witch of Izalith. His transformation into a hideous beast stemmed from his mother's ill-fated attempt to replicate the first flame, making him widely regarded as the first demon in the Dark Souls universe. On the 31st spot, Gaping Dragon. The depths in Dark Souls can be a treacherous area, especially with lurking basilisks ready to curse unsuspecting players. Beyond the hazards lies a fog wall, where the terrifying Gaping Dragon awaits. This nightmarish boss can prove challenging, particularly with its devastating stomping attacks that can quickly end unprepared adventurers. In terms of lore, the Gaping Dragon is a descendant of the ancient archdragons, surviving the conflicts of Lord Soul's bearers, but becoming corrupted over time in the depths. Its transformation into a grotesque monster reflects its desperate struggle for survival in a hostile environment. On the 30th spot, High Lord Wolnir. High Lord Wolnir stands out as one of the most distinctive bosses in the series. To defeat him, players must shatter his glowing bangles to inflict damage while contending with the minions he summons. However, there's a surprising mechanic in this fight that catches many off guard. Players who underestimate Wolnir may find themselves unexpectedly facing death if they linger too long in the darkness. The Ashen One must remain within the light to survive, a challenge made more difficult by Wolnir's unpredictable maneuvers. On the 29th spot, the Great Grey Wolf, Sif. Sif, a massive beast wielding its master's greatsword in its jaws, presents a formidable challenge in Dark Souls. Its sweeping attacks are difficult to evade, and despite its size, Sif moves surprisingly fast, catching many players off guard. A small relief comes when Sif begins to limp after sustaining significant damage, making the final stages of the battle somewhat easier. However, those familiar with Sif's lore may feel a poignant mix of emotions upon defeating this boss, adding a layer of depth and sadness to the encounter. On the 28th spot, Sinh. Facing any dragon in Dark Souls is a daunting task, and Sinh is no exception. This slumbering dragon in Dark Souls 2's Crown of the Sunken King DLC unleashes devastating fire and sweeping attacks that pose a formidable challenge to players. As the DLC's final boss, Sin's difficulty level reflects the intensity of the battle that awaits. If you are enjoying the list so far, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for the latest in Souls-like games and other gaming goodies. Let's now move to the 27th spot, Champion Gundyr. Iudex Gundyr serves as a solid introductory boss in Dark Souls 3, but many players believe this character deserves more recognition. Their wishes came true with Champion Gundyr, encountered in a missable optional area that lives up to expectations. This challenging fight sees Gundyr faster and more formidable than before, unleashing a barrage of powerful moves that keep players on their toes. On the 26th spot, Sanctuary Guardian. Artorias of the Abyss stands as a pinnacle DLC for Dark Souls, enriching the game's already profound experience. From Software's expertise in crafting exceptional DLCs shines through here. To delve into this DLC's depths, players must first confront the formidable Sanctuary Guardian. This challenging battle pits players against a chimera-like creature that leaps across the arena, delivering devastating high-damage attacks. Mastery of the game's combat mechanics becomes crucial at this point, enabling players to engage this powerful foe head-on, albeit with caution and patience. On the 25th spot, Abyss Watchers. The Abyss Watchers stand as one of the pivotal Lords of Cinder in Dark Souls 3, marking a unique and intense boss encounter. In the first phase, players witness these warriors driven mad, locked in a relentless battle against each other. The second phase escalates the challenge as the primary watcher absorbs the powers of his kin, imbuing his attacks with fire damage. This transformation amplifies his aggression, culminating in a thrilling conclusion to one of Dark Souls 3's most memorable boss fights. Next up, on the 24th spot, Aldrich, Devourer of Gods. Aldrich, Devourer of Gods, presents a formidable challenge in Dark Souls, blending melee strikes with potent magic attacks. This grotesque creature's appearance adds to the intensity of the battle. One of the primary difficulties lies in Aldrich's ability to inflict both fire and magic damage, posing a significant threat to players lacking defenses against these elements. However, despite these formidable abilities, the Lord of Cinder does have exploitable weaknesses. On the 23rd spot, Lud and Zullen, the King's Pets. The Lud and Zullen boss fight in Dark Souls 2 is infamous for its challenging trek through the frigid outskirts before encountering them. This area is widely regarded as one of the toughest in Dark Souls history, and facing a duo of bosses that move with annoying speed only adds to the frustration of the encounter. On the 22nd spot, we have Bell Gargoyles. The Bell Gargoyles are a formidable dual boss encountered early on in Dark Souls, while players are tasked with ringing the bells to access Sen's fortress. This fight presents a significant challenge, requiring players to effectively manage both gargoyles simultaneously without being cornered or knocked off the precarious boss arena. On our 21st spot, Burnt Ivory King. The Burnt Ivory King presents a challenging boss fight in Dark Souls 2, preceded by waves of charred Lois Knights that some players find tedious. However, the intense battle against this regal figure, wielding a glowing greatsword and launching relentless attacks, makes the grueling task worthwhile. Next up on our 20th spot, Lorian, Elder Prince, and Lothric, Younger Prince. Dark Souls 3 excels in delivering memorable boss fights, and acquiring the final Lord Soul is no exception. After navigating the nostalgic Grand Archives, players confront Lorian in the initial phase of the battle. As they chip away at his health, his younger brother Lothric joins in, intensifying the challenge. This grueling encounter tests players as Lothric repeatedly resurrects Lorian, requiring a determined effort to emerge victorious. On the 19th spot, Sir Alonne. Dark Souls 2, Crown of the Old Iron King offers a satisfying DLC experience with numerous challenging encounters for series fans. One standout is the formidable final battle against Sir Alonne. While many of his attacks are telegraphed, this boss remains a formidable opponent. Those skilled enough to defeat him without taking any damage trigger a unique death animation where Sir Alonne commits seppuku, adding a special touch to the victory. On the 18th spot, Fume Knight. The Fume Knight is widely regarded as one of the most challenging fights in Dark Souls 2, noted for its extensive moveset, unpredictable cues, and incredibly powerful attacks. Next is Sister Friede, on the 17th spot. Sister Friede earns her place on this list with a marathon 3-phase boss fight that tests endurance like few others. While not necessarily the most technically challenging, the sheer duration of the battle against both her and Father Ariandel can catch players off guard. Mastering the timing for effective counterattacks proves crucial, offering a path to victory against this formidable duo. Next up, on the 16th spot, Pontiff Sulyvahn. Pontiff Sulyvahn stands as one of Dark Souls 3's most formidable bosses. Armed with both the profaned Ultra Greatsword and the Greatsword of Judgment, his aggressive and wide-ranging attacks present a significant challenge. Players must master precise dodging or resort to blocking strategically to find openings against his relentless assault. Failure to do so inevitably leads to succumbing to Sulyvahn's overwhelming might. On our 15th spot, Capra Demon. The Capra Demon poses a significant challenge early in Dark Souls due to several factors. Not only does the fight occur in one of the smallest boss rooms in the Soulsborne franchise, but the demon's leaping attacks are particularly deadly in such cramped quarters, exacerbated by their precise targeting. Adding to the difficulty are two agile dogs waiting behind the fog gate, leaving little room for the player to maneuver and forcing them to contend with multiple threats simultaneously. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe if you're enjoying the list so far, my friend. Next up, we have Elana, Squalid Queen, on the 14th spot. Dark Souls 2 remains the most divisive entry in the Souls series, often considered the weakest despite its high Metacritic score. A common criticism was From Software's focus on quantity over quality with its bosses, a flaw the DLCs aim to rectify. DLC bosses like Elana, the Squalid Queen, stood out as some of the game's toughest and most memorable. Resembling the final boss Nashandra in combat style, Elana adds a unique challenge by summoning allies, intensifying the difficulty significantly. On our 13th spot, Soul of Cinder. Soul of Cinder presents a dual-phase battle in Dark Souls 3. The first phase is notably RNG heavy, with the boss alternating swiftly between mage, faith, and various melee builds. In the second phase, the fight turns nostalgic as Soul of Cinder channels the moveset of the first game's final boss, Gwyn, adding a powerful and reminiscent twist to the encounter. On the 12th spot, Artorias The Abysswalker. Dark Souls set a high standard for quality DLCs, and Artorias the Abysswalker, the knight after whom the DLC is named, quickly became a beloved figure in the game. His poignant connection with Sif added emotional depth to the encounter. However, Artorias is not renowned for offering an easy fight. His arsenal includes numerous powerful attacks that challenge players with their unpredictability. At number 11 is Manus, Father of the Abyss. Stepping into Manus's realm in Dark Souls isn't just entering a boss fight, it's diving headfirst into a relentless onslaught. Known for his seamless blend of speed and strength, Manus can swiftly drain your health with punishing attacks, leaving little room for recovery. Even with the aid of loyal Sif, whose presence offers a brief respite, overcoming this dark titan demands nerves of steel and impeccable timing. Moving on to our 10th contender, we have the infamous Bed of Chaos. More akin to a malevolent force of nature than a traditional boss, this entity tests your patience and precision. Negotiating its labyrinthine attacks and toppling its deceptive defenses requires more than brute force. It demands cunning strategy and split-second reflexes. Every misstep risks plunging into the abyss, adding layers of frustration to an already treacherous encounter. At number 9, we encounter the Four Kings of New Londo Ruins. These spectral monarchs pose a unique challenge with their individual health pools and relentless barrage of attacks. Swift and unrelenting, they force you to dance between their deadly strikes while dodging homing projectiles. The pressure mounts as each king joins the fray, amplifying the urgency to dispatch them swiftly before their combined might overwhelms you. Sliding into the 8th spot, we face the dynamic duo of Dragonslayer Ornstein and Executioner Smough. In Anor Londo, these two epitomize synergy in combat, each complementing the other's strengths. Ornstein's lightning-fast assaults keep you on edge, while Smough's bone-crushing blows punish any lapse in concentration. Their symbiotic relationship escalates as one absorbs the Fallen's power, challenging you to adapt your strategy on the fly or face crushing defeat. Next up at number 7 stands Gwyn, Lord of Cinder. As the final hurdle in the original Dark Souls, Gwyn embodies unrelenting ferocity. Armed with a blazing sword, his lightning-quick strikes punish hesitation, pushing you to perfect the art of parrying or face his punishing combos. Every encounter with Gwyn becomes a desperate dance of life and death, with each failed attempt intensifying the arduous journey back through the kiln of the first flame. Taking the 6th spot is the enigmatic Black Dragon Kalameet. From the depths of Ulasil, this winged menace challenges you to first ground it with precision archery, setting the stage for a relentless battle. Kalameet's fluid movements and devastating attacks dominate the arena, leaving little room for error. Paralysis-inducing breath and debilitating debuffs ensure that every moment spent facing Kalameet tests your resolve and adaptability. Claiming the 5th position is the formidable Ancient Dragon of Dark Souls 2. This optional colossus commands the arena with sweeping AoE fire attacks and relentless aerial assaults. Engaging it demands meticulous timing and positioning, as misjudging its devastating stomps or fiery breath can swiftly lead to your demise. The sheer scale of the challenge underscores why many adventurers opt to bypass this behemoth altogether. At number 4, we confront the elegant yet deadly dancer of the Boreal Valley. Guarding the path to Dark Souls 3's climactic stages, her graceful yet lethal movements defy expectations. Swift and precise, her relentless onslaught leaves little room for error, disrupting any attempt to heal or regroup. Facing the dancer tests not only your combat prowess, but also your ability to anticipate and counter her unpredictable patterns. Moving on to our 3rd spot, we meet the formidable Nameless King. Unfolding in 2 phases, this dual encounter pushes your combat skills to their limits. Initially atop his steed, the Nameless King's lightning-infused strikes demand impeccable timing and agility. Transitioning to the 2nd phase intensifies the challenge, as he unleashes devastating aerial assaults that punish any lapse in concentration. Overcoming this legendary foe requires mastering every facet of combat, from evasion to precision strikes. In our 2nd spot, we confront the indomitable slave knight Gael. As the climactic battle of the Ringed City DLC, Gael's relentless aggression and evolving tactics set a relentless pace. His initial onslaught with a colossal greatsword tests your reflexes and endurance, while his final phase elevates the chaos with lightning-infused onslaughts. Surviving Gael's relentless assault demands flawless execution and strategic adaptation, echoing the classic trials of Dark Souls bosses past. And finally, claiming the top spot is the legendary Darkeater Midir. Renowned for his staggering resilience and devastating array of attacks, Midir embodies the pinnacle of Dark Souls' challenge. Engaging him demands precision and patience, as his punishing strikes and fiery breath leave little margin for error. Every encounter becomes a marathon of endurance and strategy, pushing even seasoned adventurers to their limits. From the depths of Manus' abyss to the heights of Midir's lair, these bosses embody the essence of Dark Souls' challenge. Which of these formidable foes tested your mettle the most? Share your trials in the comments below, and remember to subscribe for more epic gaming content. Hit that bell icon to stay updated on our latest videos.